Real-world events affected the MCM? Well, we thought that Murray's Costume Manor was a failing business which ended up being bought out by Fazbear Entertainment. However, recently new Steelwool videos or tapes consisting of 4 tapes have been released, which tell a completely new story, in which the MCM was a business which had multiple products rather than one and seemed to be more successful. This took quite a bit of time, as you can clearly see, so if you could like and subscribe, that would be phenomenal. However, stay engaged and relax, as I have a reason for Murray's Costume Manor's downfall. I do believe that Murray's Costume Manor was a successful business, as the ads/tapes by Steelwool Studios have provided us with, as it had many products like Stay Up Latte, a coat hanger, a robotic vacuum, and micellar men, all of which were useful to the average American household in the 1970s. It also had its own advertising crew and a major factory which would house the workplace of the employees working for Murray's Costume Manor. However, in the mid-1970s, the company failed and unemployment increased within the company, making it a failing company, all due to a recession which would end up being bought out by Fazbear Entertainment in around 1977. And this is all due to a recession, by the way. So this is basically the theory, but what evidence do I have for this? Yes, I have evidence for this theory. From 1973 to 1975, America fell into a recession which closed down businesses and a rise in unemployment, perfectly fitting what happened to the MCM. But you may ask, how was unemployment happening in the company? Well, although some may not count this as evidence, the mystery box FNAF released in its livestream from Steelwool Studios included his getting fired letter, which included a desperate ad for MCM's Digitiper. We also know that around this time, likely in 1974, David Murray was born. And you can even say, even if the books aren't that trusted anymore clearly, that this recession perfectly fits the financial situation of Edwin Murray picking his workplace over his and Fiona's posh house. And after 2 years of failed business, Fazbear Entertainment would buy Murray's Costume Manor and convert his job into making robotic animatronics. In the books as well, we also hear that the MCM was created in the early 1970s, which again could create leeway for the company to boom in popularity and crash down in 1973. Going further into the recession, department stores were heavily affected. And do you know what department stores mean? A store with a variety of goods. A perfect fit for what Murray's Costume Manor actually is. This also would allow Fazbear Entertainment not to also cripple, as they obviously weren't a department store. Now, there are also other theories, like the fact that Murray's Costume Manor was never actually an important company. This includes the man and the woman in the first 2 tapes to be Eden and Fiona, and that these tapes were found in the factory, possibly meaning that they weren't even released as ads ever. This would also mean that the Tales games is true. But at this point, that statement is probably true in itself. As I conclude this video, I would just say that this includes a real-world event, this recession. Although it was not as big as the Great Depression or the 2008 recession, was still a major and affected a lot of people. However, I'm pretty sure game theory would be happy seeing real-world events being used in FNAF theories. However, I believe this theory is somewhat true and would affect the sequel of the Mimic. Unfortunately, I won't be able to play the game, so I will be taking notes from the live streams of other YouTubers. So how about you guys like and subscribe for good FNAF content and so I can buy a PS5? It takes effort to make these videos. And that's it for Bullet Springtrap.